Show, Peter G. Show, Peter G. Show, Peter G. Show. Divorced dad, single dad, divorced dad, single dad. Peter G. Show.
Oh, it seems like it was just a week ago, just like that. Just a week ago. And here we are again, Sunday. Time flies when you're having fun, or not. Ladies and gentlemen, Life with Peter G. And I do mean life. I got so much stuff that I could just talk about myself that a lot of people can relate to. It's not even funny. And it isn't even funny. There's so much stuff. And that's just one fraction of how we live. How is everybody? Another week. I hope everybody's healthy and somewhat happy. Happiness goes a long way. I just got through with these younger guys tonight. They're worrying about some things that to me was just frivolous. And I guess, you know what? I've been there, done that. But they're looking at me like I'm crazy. And it's like rightfully so. But I just don't worry about, I don't know, sweating the small. Sometimes I do. I take that back. But I'm trying not to sweat the small stuff anymore. It's just, there's just so many other things that are just so much more important. Anyway, Sunday night, February 9th, here we are all together, I hope. I hope you're all starting to tune in to the official Peter G. Show page. I don't know what else to do. I'm at my wit's end with all this. I'm once again having to refinagle things, and we're losing people because they don't know where I'm at. And it's just going to be ongoing. But you know what? Thank God for my diehard fans, and eventually they'll find me. You'll find me somewhere. I'll be floating around this big thing they call the internet. Can't keep me down. But I'm urging you all to start a watch party, please, because I've screwed everything up, or Facebook has assisted me in screwing everything up to where I've had to just change it again. I'm doing it. And we're just going to keep on doing, until I can figure it out a better way. Once again, this is why I need a budget. Doing the best we can. But anyway. Oh, I forgot to tell my sponsor. Anyway, Sunday night, February 9th. I can't believe it. January's gone. Well, we did a February show last week too, but a lot of things. Just when you think that you have a lot of things going on in your life in 1 week, I can assure you that there can be more, and I'm living proof of it. Tonight I was going to do a thing, a story time. I was going to do something this week, and now I unfortunately I'm not. I'll have to put it off till next week, because tonight I got Sarah from somewhere in the United States going to call in, and we're going to talk about divorce wars. That's always an interesting conversation. It's where everything started for me. She's been going on a 5-year ongoing battle for custody of her child, and I guess so has her husband. So we're going to get to the he said, she said part. Yeah, thank you. Watch party, please. Spread the word. I want to thank everybody who's hung in there with me through thick and thin. Truly. Through all the technical difficulties, and I think we've got the technical difficulty part out. I hope. No more freezing network, I think. But that remains to be seen. Every time I get comfortable, like I said, another curveball hits me in the knees or higher. But I do want to thank everybody. Every week is a challenge. And then there's the show. Hey, man. Tell everybody I said hey from Peter. All right, again, I could not be doing this show if it was not for, once again, my beloved Bolt Energy. Bolt Energy is growing, spreading. Ask for it in stores. Bolt Energy, the only energy drink with no preservatives. Nobody's got that. It's a cleaner energy drink. My Bolt Energy people are workout fanatics. And if you took a good look at them, you'd understand. Put me next to him, I look like Pee Wee Herman. Only he's more handsome. It's enriched with vitamins and antioxidants. Electrify your senses. The big deal for me is I think it tastes really good. I can't drink something I don't like the taste of. I'm going to open it up away from the computers and everything. Ah, you can hear that. Head for the mountains. Bolt Energy, salute. Oh yeah. I purposely don't touch any of this all day long so that when I get it, it's like ooh la la. Slightly carbonated. I like that little sparkle in it that just kind of gives me that. And the cool thing about it is, you drink this, and you know, I guess everybody's always looking, just like druggies. I guess you're looking for a high. You're not gonna get a high. You just get to. It kind of just gives you the get up and go without freaking you out or really getting you all jittery, like too many cups of coffee or something like that. It just goes. It just gives you the will to carry on, and I like that. Because believe me, I tell you, there's plenty of times when I just don't feel like doing what I got to do, and I said, okay, I need a little help. Help is on the way. Electrify your senses. If you can't find Bolt Energy, go to www.drinkboltenergy. Ask them where you can find it. They will get back to you and figure it out. Ask for it in stores. Tell them the Peter G Show sent you. Bolt Energy. It's good stuff. Oh, yeah. All right. It's the Oscars tonight in Hollywood. And we're in an undisclosed location in Burbank, California. They're doing their thing. I'm doing mine. We're doing ours. I'm going to tell you, it's kind of nasty out here in Southern California tonight. The sun had a hard time breaking out all day. Yesterday, I'm getting sunburned. Today, not so much. The clouds were coming in and out. It was looking like a rainstorm kind of weather, but it just wouldn't rain. And, I didn't even start a watch party for myself. How dare I? What is wrong with me? I don't want to go there. Give me a second, will you please? Sorry. Yeah, that is me. Where is my show? I can't even find my own show. This is what I'm having problems with Facebook on how they're sharing stuff. It's really ticking me off, too. This is why I need a budget. Please, someone. This stuff should not be happening. It should be a lot simpler. There was a point for quite a while where everything just came up perfectly. It was right in front of your face. And then Facebook had to rewrite their Privacy Act. And that's when I started losing it more. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. Why is this happening? All I want to do is, for the one lousy hour, bring it into your living rooms, bedrooms, wherever you're sitting with your laptop, your mobile device. I can't find my own freaking show. Driving me crazy. I hope some of you are watching from my other pages, but you really need to tune into The Peter G Show. That's where it's at. Let me try going there. See, I can't start a watch party from the official page. I was going to go to my private page and send one out, and I can't find it. Either way. All right. So anyway, tonight's Oscar night, and they're throwing down over there. And it's kind of nasty out. So the red carpet, I don't know. The wind picked up tonight when the sun went down, and it got like really tropically rain weather with cold. Almost felt like winter over here in Southern California. Pretty funky. All right, I get what the hell is going on. I'm starting to get a little PO'd. That's an acronym. So I'm not finding myself on my own personal page, and that really, if I can't find me, how the hell is anybody else supposed to? It's not alerted me, it's not done nothing. This is something totally new. That's why it drives me nuts. And tonight's going to be a good show, because we're going to call Sarah up, and she's got a lot going on. And I had a brief conversation with her. I didn't really want to get into it, but all I can say is buckle up. You might get an earful. But don't worry, I got this under control. Yeah, it's not telling me that I'm on. I'm on, aren't I? Somebody must be listening. Somewhere. That's why it's so important to do the watch parties, because if I'm having this much trouble, imagine all the people that actually know I'm here and can't figure out where to find me. Jesus. Alright, I'm about to throw in the towel on that, and we'll just push it over or whatever. I just hope whoever's there is there. I appreciate all you for sticking with me. So, this week, I've had some things I've talked about over the past year. Gone through a lot of stuff. I got some personal stuff in my life that I've had to deal with because I took on the responsibility. And I really didn't talk about it. I'd kind of hint around about it, and I said, one day I'm going to tell you the whole story. Well, that one day kind of almost just pretty much came to an end the other night, and I wanted to tell you the whole story tonight. I just feel it's a good story. It's just life. And I know I'm live. Where am I live, Paul? Are you watching my official page, or are you tuned into my personal? Because you're a personal friend. Are you on my personal page? I hate talking personal stuff like this. I say, hey, are you watching me? Stupid. Anyway, so years ago, all I'm going to say is next week's going to be story time. I'm taking the whole show and I'm going to tell you a story, and believe me, it's a story about the past 10 years and a real big story about the past 3 or 4. But any of you who've ever watched some of my old stuff when we started back in 2016-ish, every once in a while, on some segments of Angry Garage or, some segments, I talk about Mr. Ralph. Well, I'm going to talk about Mr. Ralph some more next week. And we'll get into that in full detail. I'm just letting you know ahead of time. It's going to be a gather around the campfire. We're going to tell a story about life. My life. And that, you're watching the Peter G Show. Yeah, I appreciate that, but I can't seem to find myself on my own personal page. And that is a first for me. I'm usually always tuning into it from there. Kind of simulcasting, so to speak, or watching it from the same place. Anyway, so next week's going to be something different. I don't usually hog the whole show for myself, or at least I'll talk about random things, but I'm going to totally talk about what has occurred in my life, and hopes that people can relate. And I'm all about sharing stories, and it's a pretty serious story because it's life. But tonight, just giving you a heads up for next week. Last week we had some good stuff before I make this phone call. Last week we had the Magical Order of Royal Knights. I had Colleen Markey on the show last week, and she has a program, and a really affordable program for parents who suffer with children that just can't sleep. They're afraid of the dark. They're autistic. They can't deal with the sleeping properly and confidently, and they're scared and all kinds of stuff like that. And she has a program with consisting of a book, a stuffed bear that's a royal knight, and who protects the child, and a flashlight that projects images to clear the room and help them feel safe. I thought that was very cool. Before I actually talked to her, I didn't know if it was going to be hokey or what the deal was, but it sounds like they've done a really good job with this kit, and they've made it very affordable, and in hopes that maybe some parents who can't sleep because their children don't sleep, that they can help them confidently regain their confidence and sleep, because if they don't sleep, you don't sleep. So hats off to last week's show, and thanks for all the great responses from that. I appreciate it, and I'm sure they do too. All right, tonight we're going to talk to Sarah. I'm going to be giving her a call in a second. In fact, I need to give her a call because I want to get this started. This might be a long one, but worthy of. And I'm really pissed off that I can't find my own show. This really drives me nuts. Oh, there I am, finally. Wow. Share now. Hang on. Oops. How do we do this? Yeah. All right, give me 1 second. I screwed up. Wow. I had my notifications off. That's real great. I don't even know how that happened. It really helps. Watch this video with your friends. Get started. See, they just changed something because it's a totally different way to start a watch party. But I'm going to start a watch party. All right, now I can continue. Little things like that bug me because you have no idea how hard we work at this stuff. We really do. And it just notified me on that one. I'm going to hang on 1 second. Please stand by. No. All right, here we go. So, sorry. These things happen, people, but look, it's all for you, so I want to make sure when I am doing this stuff that you are getting it because, again, every week, curveballs. We're going to give Sarah a call right now and see. She gave me this crazy number to be private. So, and I've never, done it like this, but we're going to do it like this, and that's the way it goes. Let's see what happens here.
Hello. Please state your name after the tone.
Look at that. I got to get screened.
We'll try to connect you.
Mm-hmm. Peter G. One ringy dingy.
Hi, Peter.
Hi, Sarah. Is that you?
Yep.
All right.
Hey.
You're live. You're live on the air. You okay?
Yep. Hi.
Okay. Say hi to everybody. Hey.
Hi, everybody.
All right. Are you nervous at all?
Yes, I am.
You really? Listen, there's no need to be nervous because I promise you that it's just you, me, and 3 million of my closest friends, okay?
Okay, oh boy.
Okay, listen,
Okay.
So I've kind of, mentioned that we're going to be talking to you on the phone and that you are going through a divorce and you're going through a custody battle that is 5 years and counting, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And what?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the
Tons of money, stress, time. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My hair was jet black before I started my divorce.
Oh, no.
Yeah. It'll do that to you. But, hey, baby. Sorry, I'm getting people texting during the show. And they're hey, babying me. So I got a hey, baby back. So let's back it up so we can get some background on the whole deal, okay?
All right.
How many years were you married?
So actually, we were never married. It was just we were never married. I just had a child with this person.
Okay, let's back it up some more. How many years were you not married with this person before you had a child? Or months? Or was it a days?
It was maybe about a year. It was about a year. I basically was used. Yeah.
Well, when having sex, aren't we all just kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're all donating.
Yeah, well,
what?
Yeah. No, sorry. He needed somebody to take care of him.
Okay.
So.
Okay, but the thing is, obviously, you stayed around, right? We all make mistakes, or because believe me, I was the greatest thing since sliced bread up until the divorce, and then my ex said she was fooled for and so for 13 years, I guess I fooled her,
Wow.
Yeah, I guess, I'm that good. Anyway, so these things happen. And then when you're angry, but the thing is, there was something, let's start back. There was something about you that attracted you to him and kept you there for a while, right?
Not really. He was nice. We met at work, and he was a nice person.
Okay. Well, at least he wasn't a bad person. I mean, because there's two sides to every coin, and I'm not saying he's right or he's wrong. But here's the thing: we're not going to really sling mud. We're just going to talk about the situation, so to speak. You know what I mean? Because in all actuality, he's not here to defend himself. And I always tell people, like, I don't care why you're getting divorced, so to speak, but yours is a custody battle. But you might as well say it's a divorce. It kind of pretty much is. And
yeah, pretty much is.
Yeah, and the thing is that once we just establish the groundwork here, then we're just going to talk about how we're getting through it, because that's pretty much the part that's killing everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So you were almost a year, and then you got pregnant after the almost a year, or you got pregnant real early on.
During the year, pretty early on, I was pregnant.
Okay, so is that one of the reasons why you stayed together then? Because now you're pregnant?
Well, I figured that, I knew I didn't want to be with him long term, and I had told him that from the beginning, but I knew I thought, at least, that the child needed to know the father
That's
for
true.
at least a few years.
True.
So that was my logic.
Let me ask you
Uh-huh.
another question. Whose last name does the child have?
Unfortunately, I gave her his last name. I put it on the birth certificate, and we lived together. So those are the two things that are helping him out.
Yeah, that is correct. Okay, so you didn't want him around, but yet you put him on the birth certificate.
Yeah, I wasn't well, that's what happens when you have a baby and you have hormones raging, and his parents came to visit they were in the hospital room, and when this person came in and asked me about the birth certificate, and I didn't know what to do, and I didn't make a good decision at the time. They said, we'll come back, and I said, nope, let's just put his name on it.
Okay, I mean, theoretically, he should share a good portion of the responsibility. I mean, he really did assist in this pregnancy.
Yes.
I mean, really. I mean, now, I had to fight to be a father because I was that child's father. I wanted to be that child's father. What did he want to do?
I think he needed a ticket to, be taken care of. But, he did come with me to appointments. He did seem caring about the pregnancy.
Okay. I mean, because he did that. I mean, you guys, in cahoots and stuff happened. You had a baby. And, I truly believe that a child should have a mother and a father. I mean, some don't have one because of circumstances beyond anyone's control. They either pass away or and some just flat out take off and don't deserve crap. And so did he stick around? I mean, you guys just weren't getting along. Let's help before we get into it. I don't want to sling mud, but what was it that is causing that? How much custody are you asking for?
Full custody, because he's crazy. But he was traveling for work. So the problem was I never really got to know him, and so he was traveling for work quite a bit, and we and even after the delivery, he was there for the delivery, but even after that, he was traveling quite a bit.
Legitimately for work, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. But I mean, his thoughts. I mean, was he checking on you? Or was it just when it was convenient for him?
It was when it was convenient for him, and then I would bring up the baby. I would say, "Oh, this is what happened today, and this is how it was." I was kind of a nervous mom, so I'd call him. "Oh, she's spitting up today, or this is happening and that's happening." But he seemed more into his work and not really so concerned.
Okay, let me ask you a question. How much custody does he want of the child?
He wants full custody.
Full? So he wants full and you want full. No, you can't even go 50-50.
We're 50-50 now, but it's obviously still not working.
Is he taking his 50-50? Since he travels, how do you do that? I had to give up my whole traveling thing because I couldn't do it.
Well, he lost his job, and so I had to go to work. And I was trying to do an extended maternity leave. But when he lost his job, I had to go to work, and he basically became a bum. And so he's taking his 50-50 now because he wants child support.
How long? Why would he get child support? If you're 50-50, it should be you both take care of the child.
Well, because he makes nothing, and
Whose fault
I don't
is
make
that?
as much now, but exactly. Thank you. And yeah.
I mean, I understand not getting, believe me, I get it in a certain extent, but the thing is, you're not responsible for him. You're responsible for your child.
Thank you, especially since we're not married. Well, thank you. I wish somebody would tell the court.
No,
and, the other thing...
I don't get the courts sometimes.
Well, they make no sense, and I hear that this is nationwide. You think it's just where I am, but I hear it's like this everywhere. But he's a bum. He doesn't even care to work. He's getting money from his 80-year-old parents. He said in court that he hasn't worked in 6 or 7 years, and he's just taking money from his family.
6 or 7 years? How old is your daughter?
She's 9. So we left him when she turned 4, but I've been going through this longer with him. So, yeah.
Right. Okay, I forgot. I'm thinking baby, and I forgot that she's older. So,
yeah,
he hasn't worked, and has the courts asked him why?
No.
I mean, is he incapable? He's handicapped, or
No, he says he's retired. He doesn't tell the truth that he lost his job, and he just says he's retired. But no, he's not incapable. We hear that he's doing work on the side. He's pretending to be a lawyer. He's helping other people with their custody cases. People who don't have lawyers, he's helping them with their custody cases, charging them like $3,000, and he's not reporting it.
Well, you would know if he'd be practicing. How can you help without your name being on something?
Well, it's his name, so we don't know because his name doesn't have to be on it if they're pro per. If they don't have a lawyer, they just put their name on it. But he does like the ghostwriting.
Huh. Okay, but even if he was retired, that's no okay. So if he's retired, then that's because he can retire. What's that got to do with your income?
Yeah, well, exactly.
I'm just because I know that I'm talking to you, and I just want to give it. I'm asking these questions because I don't want to make it like he's a bad man. He's a bad man when we don't have him here to do that. But I totally understand. I mean, 50-50 should mean now if he got 70% or more than a 51%, then I can see them kind of coming towards you, going, well, you got to contribute because he's got the child more than you do. But
thank you.
But whoever has the child more, or at least 50-50 down the middle, then it's like, okay, great. You take care of her. You come to some reasonable agreement, because sometimes you bend because he may need her or do things more at a time when he's not supposed to have her. And then sometimes you want to do something. You're going to say, hey, I'm going to keep her. And the child's going to get old enough now that the child's going to want to decide to stay or go or this and that. But the courts at 50-50 seems to be pretty much a no-brainer that you should be responsible when she's with you and he's with her, unless there's some school tuitions or something like that, and then you either split it or you work something out within reason.
That's my thinking, but that's not what they're saying, and they threatened to put me in jail if I don't pay him child support. We just had court last week.
Again, I'm not in court, and this is what makes me crazy.
Well, I have to go to another court. To show that I'm paying. And if I don't show that other judge that I'm paying, they're going to put me in jail right away.
What?
And I have to spend 4 hours tomorrow doing this orientation about how they're going to throw me in jail if I don't pay.
Wow. So here's the thing. So they throw you in jail because you don't pay, and where's that going to benefit the child?
Exactly. I'm never going to be able to work because I'll have that on my record.
That is true.
And my credit will go down the drain. And it makes no sense. They obviously don't care about the child. That's what's so concerning is the courts really don't care about. I mean, they don't have their eyes on the prize, even though they say they do. And they give me, they're equating paying child support with love for my daughter, which makes no sense.
Yeah.
Because the money's really going to him. I mean, he gets clothes from, he gets hand-me-down clothes from friends and family who feel bad.
Yeah.
And he barely feeds her. He doesn't really do anything with her.
Who watches her when he has her?
sometimes he takes her to daycare, or he leaves her with friends. He doesn't always watch her, and he's on his computer ignoring her, or he's sitting in another room, or there are times when she's told me he left her alone in the car, left her alone in the apartment.
Okay. Do you talk to his parents still, or is that over?
No, that's done. They called me, after the case was done. His mom called, and then a few minutes later, his dad called, and they said, "Oh, he's coming over to kill you." Basically, they said he's threatened to stab you, take the child, and go kill himself. This was back in 2014, right after we left him.
Well, how do they feel about you?
I have no idea now. I don't talk to them.
I mean, but
they sent me.
Were they sticking up? Were they sticking up for him?
Well, they're giving him money for the case, for this case. Because
they're giving money for the case. He's paying a lawyer.
Yeah.
Well, how can he afford?
Well, he's representing himself. He's been representing himself for the past year or two, but he's had lawyers off and on.
Okay.
And they've given him a lot of money. Well, here's the thing: he never paid his lawyers, so the lawyers came after me, and they took a ton of money. They would just grab my paychecks, and I wouldn't have anything. I mean, I'm living paycheck to paycheck, and they would just take my entire paycheck.
I heard that you've already spent close to $1 gazillion on this whole deal.
I would say about more. Yeah, I would say 500,000. Yeah,
that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot. I could have paid off all my debt and bought another house by now.
It's such business. It's such a racket. It really is. I mean, I didn't. I cry about how much I had to spend, but I'm not even holding it close to you.
Wow. Well, you're lucky.
No, I'm not lucky. I just didn't. I wouldn't have had it. That's a lot of money. That's $500,000.
Yeah, it's a ton of money. We had to go to, and I was just starting to make money when we left him. That's the reason I left him, is because I finally got a good job, and I got the courage to leave him, and so we did. But so I haven't had a savings. I've had to cash my IRA, which wasn't much. I barely have anything. I'm worried about bankruptcy, but I'm trying to avoid it.
Let me ask you, in court, how do you contain your? I mean, if you had a lawyer, you really don't get to speak much, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
The past week I got to speak a little.
Does your lawyer represent you well? I mean, because I'm going to tell you, nobody knows you like you, and I noticed that because it was the same thing. Unfortunately for me, I had a decent lawyer, but we'd be gathering at the courthouse, and minutes before we're going in, he whips out his pad and he's trying to refresh his memory because he's got 40 other friggin' cases going on and making a few notes. And mine wasn't even as complicated. We were just answering the call. I was being accused of everything, and I never was that guy. I was a good guy, and so it didn't matter. But nobody knows your situation like you do, and I just, when you can't answer, do you ever walk out of that court like my lawyer just didn't say the right things, or are they doing the right things and your judge is just screwing you?
Yeah, I've had both, because I'm on my 7th or 8th lawyer. We've been through, this has been going on for quite a while. Yeah, and so this one doesn't charge me as much. The last one said things that were just, I didn't feel like they were helping me at all. They were actually helping, him. And so I got rid of her. She wasn't doing anything for me. This one seems to be okay, and he doesn't charge me as much. I think he feels sorry for me, but they don't know the whole story. This case is so complicated. It's actually really simple. The man is crazy. He's a bum. He doesn't work. He's got mental health issues. He's got a DUI. I mean, that part is simple, but the complicated part is that he's filed so many things that everybody's confused, and nobody wants to really dive into the case and take charge.
Let's cut out the courts. Let's go to your daughter. Let's talk about your daughter. How's she doing with all this? Because she's in the middle.
She's not. Well, the first 2.5 years, he was supervised, and she would cry and scream. So from like 4 to 6, she had to see him during supervised visits. I mean, the only good thing about that was that there was somebody else there. But
doesn't that say a lot right there?
Yeah, that was because he threatened to kill me, and so so that first judge put him on supervised visits. Thank God that happened. But
where's that judge?
Exactly. Well, she's retired. She wasn't the greatest, because she still she still did 50-50 decision making, which made no sense. So every time he had her, he would take her to the doctor to try to show that I was a bad mom, that she was malnourished, that this was bad and that was bad, that I was abusing her.
Wow. And okay, so let's go back to your daughter again, because again, believe me, I know I've heard all this crap way too often.
Wow.
When you're pissed off, people do crazy stuff, and it's just ongoing, and it just takes you. I mean, this has got to be taking an effect on him too, because you're not letting up, are you?
Well, I can't, because I'm
Right.
worried this
Yeah.
child will die. He'll do something to her, and either that or he'll abuse her.
Yeah,
It's
it's going to be too late after that. Okay, so she's gone through this stuff children are pretty resilient and things like that. But now she's getting to an age like 9. These next couple of years, she's going to change dramatically from 9 to 12. I mean, she's growing. Her brain is getting more stable. Her looks are changing. I mean, she's starting to be a young,
a tween.
Yeah, I mean, I watched my daughter, I lost that baby face after 9 years old, and she just started growing up. I hated it, but she did. But at the same time, my daughter was pretty old soul, and so she's, I haven't talked to my ex in years. I used to text. We never even spoke. But now I can't even remember what year it was the last time I had to actually send her a text, because my daughter, and I don't like going through her, but the thing was, she was confident and competent enough to where, okay, we're going to do this on Thursday. Can you tell your mother that? Sure, no problem. And that's how it worked. How is your daughter as a child? Is she pretty responsible, or she's really just kind of adolescent still? They're all different.
I think she's kind of in a daze, and she's been that way ever since this case started, and it's just so hard for her to have to, because it's every 2 days. So I mean, she is resilient. She's taking it with stride, but it's still hard on her, and and I'll ask her, how was it with with him, and she'll.
It's her father.
Yeah.
You can say with your father. It's her father.
Yeah.
Good or bad, it's I understand,
Yeah.
but good or bad, it's her father. I mean, and that's the thing.
Right.
I mean, you can't deny that, unfortunately. And let me tell you, if he was, worst case scenario, it's 50-50, good or bad. Believe it or not, she's getting older very quickly. Before you know it, your daughter's going to be 16. I mean, it's time is going to jump. It's true. I'm seeing it almost.
It already has. No, it already has. I feel like like she's lost her childhood, and I feel like I've missed her childhood because she's been gone.
I get it, and it's true, and it's very true, and unfortunately, these things happen, and the only thing I can tell you is it could be worse. I know it doesn't seem like it, but believe me, there's many cases that are just a lot worse, and even though yours, because it's happening to you, and this sucks, and the tears, and the just never-ending frustration, and year after year, and day after day of all this crap, the he said, she said, and you hope that it just kind of slows down after a while. But
well, that's what we're hoping. But his capacity for revenge is bottomless, and
he
doesn't even let me talk to her. He doesn't let me talk to her when she's with him. I mean, granted, it's every 2 days, but he took her away last summer for 3 weeks. Never let me talk to her once.
That's not right. See, and even a court should recognize that especially if your daughter says, "Hey, I want to call mom." Now. Because I was having issues with traveling because I had wanted to go back. My parents were very old, and I wanted to go back to Florida, and I wanted her to know her grandparents while they were still around. And my ex was nuts because she even bought her a cell phone when she was 6, as if I'm not going to let her call.
Wow.
I let my daughter call every day. It doesn't matter. But I mean, this is what crazy kind of stuff goes on. It was so unnecessary because but anger makes you do stupid stuff. It just does. You do stupid things, and that's some stupider than others. But the bottom line was I had to fight to take my daughter out of town, and for how long because of her age. And my ex kept saying, she's too young, she doesn't want to go. And I never heard that from my daughter. In fact, never ever did she say, I want my mother. Twice, I think, in my whole entire life, she said, I want my mother, because she got hurt or something went down. But most of the time, I mean, she had so much love around her that she was just in the moment. But I'd always let her call her mother. The thing is, what do you... I don't know, 50-50. Worst case scenario, 50-50. And before you know it, time will go by. But to get full custody, that's kind of hard. I mean, he wants full custody, you want full custody. Where do you go from there?
Well, he just keeps filing. So the unfortunate thing is we're left trying to respond to his constant filings. I mean, there was one day he filed 10 motions.
When do you talk to a judge and said enough is enough? How much? Well, I mean, I don't get it. Aren't they sick of seeing you guys?
Yeah, here's what happened. In 2016, the one judge said, oh, he's a vexatious litigant, meaning he files too much and it's really affecting the other party. And so we filed that, we were granted that, and then the current judge now, for some reason, rescinded it. And so he's allowed to keep filing. So before, when he had that label, he had to ask permission of the court whenever he represented himself. So what he did was he got a lawyer, and he wrote up all the motions, and she just rubber stamped everything.
And he paid her?
So, and that's, I'm sorry?
And
yeah, he said he would pay her if they could get attorney's fees out of me. So they were always trying to get me in court so that they could show that I, didn't follow this order or that order, and so he would try to get attorney's fees. But she moved out. She moved to another state, and so he's representing himself because he can't find anybody else to manipulate.
Right. That's a lot of effort. I mean, that really is a lot of effort.
Well, he doesn't work. He's got all day to do this.
Well, obviously, I mean, look, I know he's working it because he's trying to get money out of you. That's where it really ends up. I mean, otherwise, see, yeah. I wouldn't want it. To me, Australia couldn't have been far enough away. I was just so done, and I never thought I'd say that about. Very few people have I written off in my life, but it's amazing how at one point you die for one another, and then towards the end you want to kill one another. It just
exactly.
But the thing is, the lawyer, I mean, the judges. There's got to be a point where it's like, okay. Enough is I was going to court so much that the friggin' security guards, they didn't know whether I was the attorney or who was the attorney.
Exactly.
Going through
exactly.
It sucks.
Yeah.
It's humiliating. Yeah. You're standing there airing out all your dirty laundry and people are sitting behind you, listening to all this crap. It's horrible.
It is. And I've had sorry.
It's okay. And you've had what?
Well, I was going to say, I have a
You have a what? Hello? Oh, don't tell me I lost you. Hello? Hello? Her battery better not have died. Yoo-hoo! Rapunzel! Oh, that's great. Right when she's getting ready to tell the good thing. Hello?
Hold on, I said we might have to go to court.
Whoa. You just dropped out for about 30 seconds.
Oh, I could hear you the whole time.
Oh, well, for some reason, there was nothing coming out. You were about to answer something, and now I don't even remember what the hell it was. Say it again.
I was job, and I was honest with them. Like, I might have to go to court 2 or 3 times a month, and that turned them off, of course.
Oh, a job, yeah. See? Yeah, they need you there. Wow. Yeah. I see what's going on. You must be on a Wi-Fi or something because I heard the signal getting squirrely.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. We'll just play. So far, so good. Let's hope we can keep on going because we're right in the thick of things now. Well, so let's go back to your daughter again. So your daughter now, she's 9 years old. She gets bounced back and forth. You said every 2 days.
Yeah, but that's better. He wants to change it, but it's better that so I can keep an eye on her.
Yeah, it's not a long period, right?
Well, let me tell you, he only feeds her banana chips and cereal. He doesn't feed her.
Wow. Does he? Okay.
Yeah.
Here's another thing. She's getting old enough, and I hate to throw the kids in the mix, but I got a buddy of mine whose kids are 14, and and he's gone through hell, and he's a good man. And he just got the raw end of the deal for no reason for 2 twins, and for years he's been battling, and the courts finally had an attorney, had them have the children an attorney to get to the bottom of what's going on, because they just didn't believe him, and now the kids have been speaking for themselves to depict the situation. I mean, it'll get to that point that you'll have to probably throw your daughter, have somebody. Have you had your daughter in family mediation or counseling or therapy or something?
Well, I had her with a psychologist, and then the judge who wrote up the post-trial orders said she needed to continue with that psychologist, but guess who fired her? So she doesn't have a good psychologist, and that's sorely missing. And she did have her own attorney, the best interest attorney.
Yes.
But he was terrible. He was terrible. He was about to get married, and he was basically on the dad's side. I mean, at the end, he said that I should have full custody. I can't remember how he worded it, but at the end, he was kind of more on my side. But through the whole thing, he was terrible, and he was just. And then, the father didn't pay him, and I ended up stuck with with that portion of the bill too.
Wow.
Which was like $30,000.
Yeah. They made another car, bought another car. At the end of the day, it's supposed to be in the best interest, what's in the best interest of the child. Now, again, it's not like who do you love more, your mom or your dad, but this is just like nonsense. It's in $500,000. I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight thinking about. I knew it was a lot, but I didn't realize it was $500,000. I thought we were in the $200,000-$300,000 range, which is still more than most people make in a lifetime or in many of their years.
Yeah, I just got. I just finally looked at a bill. Some of these old bills I don't even look at anymore, but. It said it was $257. This is from one lawyer that I already paid like $200,000 to. She represented me for about a year or year and a half. I paid her like $200,000, and her bill says I still owe her $257,000. And each month the percentage interest is about $4,000.
They're charging interest?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sick.
Yeah. Well, our case has been to the appeals court, the Supreme Court. It's been everywhere. But the problem is, it's him filing nonstop and us having to respond. And I know the responding. Trying to work.
It'll break it. You should just represent yourself. I mean, get a paralegal to do. I know, but at least you get to speak. Let me tell you something. I mean, if you keep on responding to him, you're not doing anything. Like, you're not the one filing the claims, and that was what my attorney was constantly telling me. Now, this is just my opinion, okay? I know nothing, but he kept looking at me after we get out of the court. He goes, "Well, how do you feel?" And again, this guy was not a bad guy. Her lawyer was milking her dry and just dragging us into court.
Wow.
But the thing was, he'd look at me after we got out of court, and I get rattled. It's like peeling a grape and pouring gasoline on the wound when you get out of these things. And he said, "Well, how do you feel?" I go, "What do you mean, how do I feel?" He goes, "Well, we're winning." And I looked at him, I go,
"Really?
I don't feel like we're winning." Yes, well, the thing was, the claims that she made didn't stick, and, so she keep dragging me into court. She say, "He's this," I go to court, "I'm not this." Next month, "He's that," I go to court, "I'm not that." So in a sense, we were winning, but every time we kept answering, now again, mine looks like pity stuff, but it was $3-4 grand every time I went to court. And
wow.
and I could never say nothing, but then there came a point where I was getting tapped out because I stopped working for almost 2 years because I wanted to make sure when the judge laid out the visitation schedule that I didn't miss a single second and wasn't going to be responsible, like for her to say, "Well, he's not there." Because I stopped traveling, I stopped everything, and made sure that if I'm supposed to be somewhere at 6 o'clock to pick her up, I'm going to be there and drop her off when I'm supposed to. My ex would always be late dropping her to me, but never late to pick her up. But the thing is that at a certain point, I finally had to let my lawyer go, and because I was just running out of money. I'm just not rich, and then the good part was, I got to represent myself. Now, I didn't like the filing part, but then again, she was doing all the filing, so all I had to do was show up. So when I showed up, I got to speak for myself, and Lord knows that nobody knows me better than me. So, at the very end, when it came down to money, like, what about the house, what about this and that, I pretty much had to let all that go because that was a whole nother war that I didn't want to afford, and I just walked away from everything. But the bottom line was I wasn't walking away from my daughter. And speaking for yourself is not so bad, because, again, you're just paying these lawyers to be there standing next to you, and I don't know,
Yeah, they don't know the story. Well, this one's pretty good. He comes in and out of the case. He acts more like a paralegal, but he's pretty decent for now. The problem is I'm so busy trying to work and take care of her, my daughter.
Hard to be a single parent. It's very hard.
Yeah, and the case. And now they're sending her to, we live on one side of town, he's on another side of town, and the judge forced her to, go to school in his side of town, which is like an hour and a half away in rush hour traffic.
Oh, damn.
So
that's hard.
Yeah,
that's hard.
So I'm spending most of my time in traffic, and so is she, poor thing.
Yeah, well, that's hard. I get it, and I moved, right around the corner from my ex, our house, because I wanted to be one thing the attorney told me. I learned that through Brian Setzer, actually, too. Brian Setzer was with the Stray Cats, and he got married and divorced by two different women in his time, and he ended up moving right in between both of them in Malibu to be able to get to his children. And this was a story that was told to me, and it was because the quicker you could get to your children, the more time you get to them, and the less hassle it is for your children. And I took that I never forgot that. And I wasn't even close to being married when I heard that story, but I never forgot it. For some reason, it came back up, and I did. I moved very close to my child, even if it meant me having to drive farther for work or something else, because because of that situation. That's hard.
Wow,
that's hard.
Well, this guy's a stalker. I mean, he'd show up, and so we have to live in a gated community because he'll just show up and knock on my door and say, "Oh, I left you some papers," and he stalked my lawyers. He sent them emails saying, "I know you're in so and so today, and you were there," and he'll just show up at their offices unannounced. Even my lawyers.
They're lawyers. Won't they get restraining orders or something for that crazy shit?
Well, the one that I got rid of last year, he showed up at like 9 or 10 of her other cases, not our cases, her cases, and he would try to badmouth her to her clients or the opposing client, but she said she would file a restraining order. She never did.
That's kind of crazy. I figured maybe, you said he was a lawyer too?
Who? This guy?
Your ex.
He pretends to be a lawyer.
Does he not have a license?
He was not a lawyer. He's not a lawyer.
So how can you pretend to be a lawyer? That's illegal, right?
Well, he claims to have been accepted to law school, but that he can't afford it. So he says he's auditing classes. I have no idea, but
this is crazy.
Yeah, it is illegal to pretend to be a lawyer. The one good thing the last lawyer did was she was trying to find out. She did file a bar complaint, but I don't know what happened with that, and I haven't had the time to look because I've got all these other filings to deal with.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a terrible case. It just never. There's so many moving parts to this case.
I mean,
it just never ends.
At the end, the only way this is going to end is you're probably going to keep on going through hell. I hate to tell you that, until your child gets old enough to really speak for herself and the truth be told completely for real from her version of what she feels.
Yeah,
I hate to say it, but I mean, she's going to be the definitive factor because you're saying one thing, he says another. They only see you for the 20 minutes or that you're in court or 30 minutes, and who do you believe? Do you get crazy when you're in court, or do you hold yourself together? It's not easy.
I hold my. It's not. I hope. Yeah. It's not, but it's very frustrating that they don't understand my side because he's the squeaky wheel. He's constantly filing. It seems like his version of the story is what's front and center, and it's really unfair. And the problem is we're constantly left responding that we don't have a chance to be on offense.
But the thing is, if you're not crazy, if you're not doing anything, you're not going over there the crazy ex, going over there and smashing his windshield and stuff like that. It's like, I don't get it. How much stuff could he come up with? Well,
he says she's got all these problems, all these conditions, and that I don't take care of her. And so, that's what he's constantly filing or lately was the child support. I'm not paying him child support. So he always finds something where it puts a doubt in their minds, and then they don't know what to do because they don't know the details.
Sure, they don't. They only spend I spent countless thousands of dollars writing declarations and all this bullshit, and when the judge came into court, he's supposed to read that stuff before he even comes to the bench. Never even looked at it, ever.
Oh,
and that's the norm.
Well,
that's the norm.
Really? Well, the problem with this judge is that he actually does, he reads, but it's all of his filings. And so this judge said he actually read things on his winter break. I think the courts were closed for 2 weeks. I'm not sure, but apparently he read some of our filings. And that's when he rescinded that vexatious litigation label. Mm-hmm. So, I just don't understand what's going on with this judge.
Wow.
So.
Well, I mean, you can write declarations, you can rebuttal to all that stuff, but that's a tough one. That's a lot of time, and I mean, normally they don't do anything. They're in the moment. I remember watching, we're talking and all he's doing is going to the Disco Master. And he wasn't, I'm very, very lucky because, again, a lot of people think that the courts are very women-sided, and the children should
They're
be...
not, believe me.
Well,
Yeah.
It depends who you ask, you know what I mean? My buddy in L.A. County, he got short, again, sweetheart of a guy, and he's been fighting now. Those kids are 14, and he's picked it up again because he just wants to have, just the ex is unreasonable. They have, they're supposed to be back by 5 o'clock on a Sunday, and, they're with family or cousins, and it's like, is it going to kill the mother to say, they call her and go, can I bring her about 7? And it's like, no, we have plans, which is total bullshit. That's the big joke. And it's just, you got to be reasonable for the benefit of your child, but sometimes as you see, it doesn't happen that way. How is it when it comes to bringing her back and forth? Is everything on time, or do you get stood up and things like that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's happened, and he exacts revenge. And if so he doesn't let me talk to her, so I'll email and say, well, how's she doing? And if if I don't respond by a certain time, then he'll take that revenge, and he'll delay his response to me.
Sure.
When she's
sure.
But no, he doesn't bring her, and we've had to do exchanges at the police station, and so a lot of times he just won't bring her, and he's made us miss flights before. He purposely. Yeah, it's and the problem is because he lives in one area, I live in another area, and her school's in another area. We've had 3 different police jurisdictions, and they're all confused, and then they don't do anything.
They don't do anything. They don't know what's going on. All they can do is go there to keep the peace, but they're not going to sign up. They don't know. Been there.
They don't care about custody.
I've been
the minute you say custody, you get put in a box, and nobody cares, and they just blame both of you.
Right. Well, it's pretty stupid, and unfortunately, it's very grueling, and it's very it takes a toll on you.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, again, I hate to say it, but eventually one day it's going to boil down to your daughter having to speak out, good or bad, and you can't coach her. You just got to let her be her and hope that you did the best you could. And, again, the he said, she said, I don't know how much shit he talks about you in front of her, and I don't know how much stuff you talk about him in front of her, but it just doesn't help the situation. It's hard, and it's hard not to. I would get so wound up, I just start talking out loud while I'm, going through a store because I'm thinking so hard that my mouth starts moving. I look like a friggin' retard.
No.
Yeah, I still do. Let me tell you something. This stuff changed me forever. That's why I'm sitting here right now.
Yeah, good for you.
Good for me. I don't know.
Good for you for speaking out. Let's say that.
Well, I could have done without it. Believe me, my life wasn't so bad, and now it's been a slow rebuild. But I'm still here.
Wow.
I've had to stop worrying about what I used to have and start just being thankful for what I do have, like my life, for starters.
Yeah.
Not everybody's that lucky, and a lot of people do a lot of crazy shit. And and I truly, I just got through saying that this evening too. We were talking about something because I was talking to somebody about the show, a new fan who somebody I was talking to personally in front of me. And I said, I see why people see red and do bad things because this stuff could get so frustrating. You get so bent out of shape that some people just lose it, and they do things that they might regret later. And I said, I get it. I said, if I wasn't sane, I totally, I understand, but it doesn't make it right. But that's the whole thing, knowing the difference between right and wrong. But just people do crazy stuff. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And they're using you're using a child as a weapon, and the bottom line is it's the only person you're really hurting is the child because you'll get through it. You'll get through it. Nobody wins. No,
it's terrible. And I never thought I'd be in something like this. It's just terrible.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd be in anything like that either.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so where do you go from here now?
It's just day to day, like I said, now I've got to, pay this darn child support on time or I get thrown in jail. So we've got to deal with that. We're hoping somebody will listen to us that he's got a DUI for goodness sake.
A DUI,
why am I paying
a DUI?
Yeah, why am I paying an alcoholic?
No, but that you can get a DUI just for. I remember you said that when I called you to do a quick interview. You kind of said that, but a DUI can happen. You know, you're going to have to prove him to be a. And look, my ex had me follow with a private investigator because I was so bored when I left my house. I'd start going to happy hours and watching basketball playoffs. And I'm not even a sport fanatic, but I can watch basketball. I don't mind basketball. I used to play it when I was younger. But for me to go out of my way to watch TV, it's like very unusual if you know me. But I was bored, and I didn't know what to do. So you're sitting there, and you're having a couple of beers, and this and that. She was trying to say he's out drinking every day, and blah blah blah. You know, but the thing, bottom line is he doing it when he's with your child? Is what he does in his spare time?
Yeah.
He is.
Well, he is drinking in front of her, I'm sure. Yeah, he's. Yeah.
Because, I mean, my ex made it to where I cannot drink, or, back then, because she was trying to make me like this bad person. In fact, she had the cops called because I took her someplace, and it was an outdoor place, and we had lunch on a Sunday afternoon, and we had this little place that had a band on Sunday afternoons. I wanted her to learn how to clap her hands. She was little. She's probably 4 years old. 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And I ordered a Coors non-alcoholic beer. It looks just like a beer. I mean, because it is kind of, but no alcohol. And I got her a Coke and a little popcorn because she was sitting there watching the band in this indoor-outdoor little venue. And lo and behold, all of a sudden I see cops walking around, and my gut, I just knew they were looking for me. And they were.
Wow.
Because she had me followed. And, and that's the thing, though. I mean, if you think he's drinking with her and she's going to be in jeopardy and he's drinking and driving, well, I get it. Mine was just being a bitch, and just when you're pissed off, you do bad things. And so I had to drag that cop into court. It cost me a fortune subpoenaing him to court, and that because I spoke to them, and I was dressed in a suit. Actually, we just got through with church, and it was Father's Day.
Wow.
Yeah, wow, that's right. I'll never forget that. And thank God my daughter was very, very little, but and she was. These people were like preoccupying her, but it was very embarrassing. And the cop says, "What's going on? Are you going through a divorce?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Got it." And then he told me he even had the court orders in hand. Somebody had handed him that I'm not supposed to be drinking. I go, I'm not drinking. And then he says, "Well, I wasn't here. They said that you were giving her alcohol." And it's like, okay,
oh my God,
yeah. But this is what's stupid. This is what divorce does. The stupidity of anger and all this crap. So the only reason I'm telling you this is because I want you to know that you're not alone. It's this is just one small example, just little old me.
Yeah, thank you.
So
I'm not angry. I just want this to be done.
I understand, but how do you get it done if he won't let up? He's being a bitch.
I don't know.
He's the one being a bitch.
Yeah.
But the thing is, how do you do it? You guys don't talk, obviously, right? Or do you?
I can't talk to him on the phone because he'll go and manipulate. So it has to be by email, or he'll text me. I don't even text him. I just do email I can have
Are you guys on any kind of court ordered? Like over here, they have this thing, and I hate it because I never had to do it. Thank God, but it's called the Family Wizard. You have to pay a fee, and then it's all documented. You have to go through this certain email platform and it documents every email that you have. Not that anybody's going to read it, but. Just another money-making thing.
Gosh.
Yeah, divorce. I had to go to parenting classes, $300 to go for stupid stuff. I go, I got this, but you can't tell them that. I had to go to, all kinds of stuff. So it's like paying money just to keep everybody working.
Oh, yeah. Well, we've had child services. We've had everything, because he calls them and they want to come and investigate. We've been through everything. Mm. He's called the cops on me. He said the first time he did that, he said I cut up her ear, and this was like the day after she saw him, and the officer came by and
cut off her ear,
and that I cut up her ear,
So,
and poor thing she was in the bathtub, and I didn't answer the door because I didn't want to leave her in the bathtub, and I finally had to get her out. And they bang on it like they're ramming a log through. Right. I had to get her out of the bathtub. Yeah.
Again, they don't know. They're responding to an emergency.
Well,
you know what I mean? Don't blame them. I mean, they're just doing their job. Someday you might need them. Hopefully not.
And hopefully they'll.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Hopefully they'll do their job.
Well, they don't know. If I called the cop and said, my ex is doing something, they're going to go respond. They're only going because that's what these stupid ex partes. They don't know when they're having these ex partes and you're going into court because they push everything aside and get you in there rapidly because they think it's something serious. They don't know.
Yeah.
I learned too many court, acronyms and all this crap, the stuff I wish I never knew.
Exactly.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
All right, look.
Yeah. Well, Yeah.
You know, you're in a rock and a hard place. There's no doubt about that. All I can tell you is just to try to keep your act together. I mean, my lawyer kept telling me to wear the white hat, which drove me nuts because I was sick of it. It felt like it was doing me no good. We just kept on going on and on and on until I finally asked the judge, when is this going to stop? She has frivolous.
Oh, good for you.
You know, well, I had to because I had to let my lawyer go at one point, and I'm representing myself. And I said, I've come to this court for 2.5 years answering to all her claims, and not one single thing has proven to be correct. I said, and on top of that, I'm in debt now. You know, because I tried to get her to pay some of those bills because it was frivolous. But no, you know, I wasn't trying to do anything. I just wanted to shut her down, and the only way I knew how to hit her was in the pocket. Didn't do any good though. But we finally came to an end. But the thing is, you know, you can't win them all. At some point, I won a bunch of battles that I'm very thankful for, but there's a couple of things that, you know, he looked at me and says, I didn't tell you who to marry, and I didn't tell you who to have a baby with.
Wow.
And, yeah, that's a hell of a damn, I hated it. That was like, I wanted to say, really? That's what you're saying? You know, it wasn't a point of that. We're talking about all the stuff afterwards, and this is not, you know, this is the way it goes. But I couldn't say that to him because he's the judge.
Wow.
But I did get to speak and said, when is this going to stop? And,
what did he say?
It started coming to an end. But that's what you need. You need to give somehow. It's like, when is this going to stop? You know, and unfortunately, it's only because he started realizing that her lawyer started, you know, she started running dry too, financially. And then they go in the back and they go, okay, it's time to wrap this up. I hate to say that, but it's true.
Wow. Really?
Not for all, but for they all went to school together. The judge was a lawyer at one time. It's business.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah. It's true. It's sad but true. I mean, I love to think that, you know, there are good lawyers. There's good and bad everything, but it's business. So, I mean, I don't know, but you need to get a lawyer that's going to say, when is this going to stop? This man is just, you know, being a bitch.
Well, yeah. Well, you know, the lawyers kind of, you know, they can say scary things. You know, the lawyer actually said, if you guys don't stop, they're going to take your child away. Yeah, I mean, that's the last thing we need. But I'm not the one doing this. You know, I'm not filing.
I understand, but you know, you might have to. At worst case scenario, it's like 50-50. I mean, you're already doing it now. You know, and you just stomach through it, and then once he doesn't get money from you, believe me, things are going to change because he's not going to want to take care of her as much. I promise you. When the war is over, what?
Yeah. Yeah, he already doesn't take care of her. He's just using her for the money.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but that's where you got to get to the point, and I want to wrap this up because we're going over time now. Unfortunately, I knew this was going to be a long thing, but that was the whole thing. I stopped what I was doing, and I could not go back to what I was doing and start traveling again after this was all over, because then what was the point of going and fighting for 50-50 if I wasn't going to be there 50% of the time?
Yeah.
So once it was over, like, you know, I'm telling you, I'm a trial case study at California Lutheran. We went, they were mandatory, you know, to go to mediation, and they filmed us because it was like a free thing you could go to. But that's how they were teaching their students. And we still went for 2 years or more after that because she was still unreasonable. And, you know, and I'd say, and I knew that if the recommendation, if a letter was written by the mediator or the professor there to the courts because of one reason or another, whatever he said was going to be taken into court and be taken professionally because he's the professional. So I knew it. Anytime she wanted to give me shit, I go, well, then let's go over there and let's go discuss it with what's his face, you know. And then she started calming down because, you know, that's not their first rodeo.
Yeah.
I mean, have you gone to mediations or anything?
Well, we're ordered to go to mediation in a couple of weeks about custody and parenting, you know, decision-making parenting time. But
you go.
Yeah, I mean,
you go and you hope you got somebody that's kind of.
I had to pay.
You know, I don't know how manipulative he is, but the thing is, if you're, you know, I understand, but sometimes those, you know, people see right through it. I don't know. You have to keep your composure too. My voice would start getting louder and higher. I couldn't help it. It's the way I'm wired, you know, because I'm so upset, and that would ruin me. I really had to catch myself, and a couple of times I lost it because they wound me up, and I blew it. You know, it's just, but you live and learn.
Wow.
Doesn't pay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Look. I'm truly glad that you came on to talk about this. I'm sure that this story will benefit many people because, believe me when I tell you, you're not alone. It's going on way too much. But
It's too bad.
but I wish you the best, and maybe we'll catch up on this some other time when things, and see how things are panning out. But for right now, I just wanted you to get a few things off your chest because I think it might do you some good, especially when you even listen to this too. I find that a lot of people find the answers within themselves from listening to themselves, but they just don't hear it at the time. Okay?
All right. Thank you.
Well, thank you for staying up and being right here live on Life with Peter G. And again, I think you're doing a good thing. Just keep the faith and try to stay reasonable. And in the end, I want to say that, good prevails, but sometimes I wonder that myself, but just worry about your daughter. I mean, do what's best for your daughter, even if it means giving in and letting life play itself out. I'm telling you, if he gets 50-50 and you can settle for that and there's no money coming in, he will gladly be volunteering her to stay more at your house than his. I promise you.
Okay.
I promise you. Because
All right.
he'll be so busy. If he's wired that way, he's got other things to do. He's just doing it right now because he's in the middle of a fight. Promise you.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
make it happen. Be reasonable and try to let him that he's got a I don't know. You'll figure it out. This show will do you some good.
All right. Thank you.
All right, I appreciate it and very much. And again, we'll just have to touch base further down the road. Okay.
All right. Take
All right.
care.
Thank you so much. Good night.
Good night.
Woo! See what I mean, folks? Do you see what I mean? Everybody's going through hell. You get kids involved, the he said, the she said. She doesn't sound crazy. I thought for some reason I thought maybe, because we did a pre-interview and she's like, well, okay, you're going to have to help me out because I might tend to keep going on and on. She sounds kind of pretty together for me. I don't know. But, you just got to be a decent parent. If you're a decent parent, but she wants full custody, he wants full custody, nobody's winning. And who loses? The child. Tonight, you're here at Life of Peter G. You just got off the phone with Sarah, who's been doing court battles for custody for her 9-year-old daughter for over 5 years. $500,000 she has spent. Let that sink in for a minute, people. $500,000. Who has that kind of money? I mean, I know there are, but I guarantee you there's a lot of people going, holy crap. And then you have to still live, like pay your bills and rent and all that kind of stuff. $500,000. Then I took a breath back when she said that. I thought, for some reason, I knew we were in the over $100,000, and I thought maybe it was in the twos, but I didn't realize it was in the fives and counting. And she has attorneys that are charging her interest. It's fucking ridiculous. Sorry, I'm starting to use harsh language. Anyway, I hope that benefited some people, and I hope you'll share this show in the future for everybody doing watch parties, because believe it or not, you have people in your circle that are going through this, will be going through it, don't even know it yet, but somehow or another, just by sharing stories just like this, you could be helping other people just to get a grip. I'm not saying that there's great advice here, because we're not giving advice, we're just giving opinions, but we're sharing stories and things you can relate to that maybe will help you manage your life when your life is falling apart. I mean, that alone, going through that for 5 years, that'll age you. It'll age you a lot, and your child, and it just changes you. I've clearly admitted that some of the stuff I went through, my own elderly parents, it was killing them because they worry about me, or they worried about me. And they're just, sitting, stewing, not knowing what's going on. And sometimes you don't want to tell them to protect them, but they're just sitting there worrying about you. It just never ends. Very, very sad. But anyway, all right, listen. Another week has gone by. Another great show. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And again, I want you to share. Next week, I think I'm going to have story time. We're going to gather around the campfire, and I'm going to tell you a story called Mr. Ralph. Something very personal to me, and some things I've gone through that it's time to talk about it. Just because it's life. It's life. Unless something changes, But I've been waiting for it. I've been hinting around for it because I was going through a lot of things these past 2 years, and especially the last 7-8 months. And I just said, you know what, I'm going to wait until the chapter ends, and the chapter kind of ended. So, but we'll talk about it next week. I wanted to get Sarah on because I felt that this story of divorce and custody battles is very compelling, and people need to hear this stuff. That is where this whole show started from, when it was called The Peter G. Show, the greatest divorce and single parenting guy, period. And then I started doing this live Facebook show that I just wanted to call it Life with Peter G. as kind of a spinoff. And I wanted to talk about whatever's, just life, because that's basically what we're living, life. I didn't care if you were mad at your boss or your life sucked or, your girlfriend or your dog, shits on the carpet, whatever, and, whatever. It's just life. So I give people a chance to talk about it. That's why we had that call-in number, 818-259-7983, that nobody uses anymore because you guys are so used to sitting back and watching. But that's cool. Just share. That's all I'm asking you. Share. Anyway, so from here, I want to say goodnight to everybody and thank you. And we will pick it up next Sunday. And please watch all the little excerpts and clips through the week. But share the show. There's rebroadcasts through the week. Share. The best thing you can do if anything that you believe in me and this stuff that I'm doing is to share so we can get it to a higher authority, a bigger streaming network with a budget. I want to do bigger and better things for you guys. I just need to get to that level, all right? Love you guys more than anything. Don't take no shit from anybody, but don't be a hard ass either. Life's too short. To me, kindness is just getting so less seen. I will never end trying to. Nobody's I will never make apologies for just trying to be a decent human being. And that's just the way I feel. I'm Peter G. Love you guys more than anything. Good night. We'll talk to you later, okay?
Peter G. Show. Peter G. Show. Peter G. Show. Peter G. Show. Divorced dad, single dad.